Hi, Amy Jo here. Welcome to day 2 of Stop It. Right now, we're talking about words and the things that we say and how they affect us. And two of the words that should be obliterated out of our vocabulary should be I can't. And we find ourselves saying I can't for a whole series of reasons, like I can't go with you today. I have another appointment. I can't do this or do that. And, that's pretty much normal speaking vocabulary. But what if you really stopped and looked at it when I remember one day I was wanting to paint our house, and there was a whole bunch of lumber that was stacked up against it. And I kept telling myself, I can't paint the house. And there was several reasons that I gave it. I can't because I didn't have a pressure washer to wash the house was the first one. And I can't because all this lumber is pushed up against the house. And it was going to be a really strenuous task to move this lumber. And I had a knee brace on and wasn't feeling real great. And so I kept saying, I can't. And I thought for, one moment of clarity, and I went, is I can't really the correct way to speak what this is? Because honestly, what it boiled down to was, I don't want to do this the hard way. I don't want to move that lumber myself. I don't want to take a hose and a broom to wash off all of the cobwebs. I'm saying I can't. What if I change it to I want to I want to paint the house, but I want to get the cobwebs off and I want that lumber moved. Well, when it came down to it, my husband was still too busy to help me move the lumber, and I went, well, why can't I move this lumber? A 2x4 isn't very heavy. Now, there was a couple hundred of them, but still, a 2x4 is not that heavy, and just because I have a knee brace on doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to do this. So I began to speak a different dialogue to myself and say, I can move a few pieces of lumber at a time. Well, I went out there intending to move. I told myself, I'll just move 5. I'll move 5 today, I'll move 5 tomorrow, and 2 weeks down the road, the lumber's moved and I'll be able to do it. Well, surprise, surprise, once I got in there and started moving the lumber, the stack moved pretty much all by itself. I just kept moving lumber over, just taking it, from here to there, so I had enough room to move the, to get in and paint, so I only needed about 4 feet. Shoot, man, in about an hour, I had all the lumber moved, and then I had found that instead of pressure washing, if I just took a broom and knocked off all of the cobwebs, then I could take a hose nozzle and wash it and get it pretty good, and then hit it with a wire brush. And by the end of 2 days, I was able to accomplish something that I had blocked myself completely with the words I can't. So your challenge for the next 24 hours is going to be to correct yourself when you hear the words I can't. What are you really saying? You're saying, I don't want to. Or there's something else that I have instead that I need to do. So if it's saying, I just talked to a woman who was wanting me to teach a class on the 13th, and I told her, I started to say, I can't, because my mom has a thing. And so instead of saying I can't, I just said, in November, you'll have to get someone else because my parents' 60th wedding anniversary is going to be on that date. So you'll have to get someone else. And I was able to say it without saying I can't. So if you catch yourself saying I can't, figure out what it is you're actually wanting to say, what you're actually wanting to communicate, and communicate it in a way that feels more like I can. Because I could definitely choose to not go to my mother's and do the talk for her, but I'm not choosing that. And so, like I said, I know this seems like it's really small, but if you're telling yourself, I can't because I'm too old, or I can't because I'm not in physical shape for it, or whatever it is, make sure you recognize that you're perpetuating these things. How about I can't, I don't have the money for it. Stop. Stop it. I choose not to at this time because the money that I have needs to go someplace else. It's a big distinction to your nervous system to make yourself be in power. So when you're thinking about this, like I said, the next 24, take a look at the words I can't and watch them very closely and notice when you're saying them. So anyway, that's it for today's challenge. Get in there and watch yourself. And if you want, do a little journaling or something and see if you can find a time where you're saying I can't. Take, right now, if you want to post in the things below this link, you can say where you found I can't, so other people can become aware of where they might be saying it too. So this is where we're going to be working together, is we're going to be looking at what is it that we're saying. Put it in this thread if you catch it, and especially if it's an unusual one. Put it in the thread, and we'll be able to read through and see where other people are tripping themselves up with the word I can't. Anyway, talk to you soon. Amy Jo signing out. That is, if I can figure out, oh yeah, I don't have a mouse, using a button. Bye.